Hi, my name is Dwayne Coleman, and this is my EDU 710 terminal project. And this is around the Oceanside Promise. It is an initiative that is a guarantee that all students in Oceanside will graduate college and career. And so in this presentation, it is a Prezi presentation. And so I'm going to apologize up front that some of the things that I'm going to show you may take a little while to load. But I want to show you what my project is. It's going to show a couple technology techniques, programs that I've learned over the past 2 years. So let's go ahead and open this. Let me make it. Okay, so here we go. In this introduction, the presentation will observe several examples of how I'm going to integrate technology used in presenting units in building instructional leadership capacity of principals and other leaders in the district. One of my sayings is that in order to lead the work, one should be able to do the work. That is specifically one of the reasons that I am taking these courses, is because of I just really believe in leading the work. You need to know how to do the work. So here is a Weebly site that I created. And this is, again, focusing on principal leadership. And so I'm going to take you not through all of it, but this was a Weebly site that I had created. Again, principals, instructional leaders, embedded pictures. And so here is one of my outcomes. Now, this is all kind of made up. And so these are some of the outcomes in terms of what I want this to be. Bottom line is 90% of principals that fill out the individual instructional reflection forms will be able to identify and explain at least 4 critical thinking strategies and or skills that support teaching and learning. So this is another program that I used to put this picture in here. And under critical thinking, another picture. Now these are all Google images. And then one of the things I had to learn was how to embed videos into a Prezi, actually not a Prezi, but into the Weebly site. So I'm going to quickly show you what this is, and then so you see that these all work. I won't take you through all of this.
Top of the day to you, my good friend. It is so nice to see you once again.
It is great to see you as well. I hope all is going good.
I was speaking with a friend last week and he mentioned something about critical thinking. I kind of have an idea what critical.
So that's a video that has a focus on critical thinking skills. And so let's go up here, go to an assessment. Now in this assessment, one of the things I used was today's meet. And what you do is when you type into this, you put a name, then you type into this just the critical thinking skills that I'd want an administrator to be able to identify. Then what I would do is copy and paste all of these different skills from this group, and then you'll see it in later on in the presentation. A thing called Wordle is where you take everything, you copy and paste it, and then what it does is it really shows all the most prominent words that people are saying as the largest font, and it kind of works its way down. So let's go. So that was, let me bring this back out. That was an example of a Weebly site that I created. Now these are keynotes. This is different from a PowerPoint. And so I wanted to learn how to do keynote presentations. Now, what you'll notice is this is a cloud, actually a conversion. What I also learned is keynotes cannot be embedded into Prezis directly. So I had to transfer this to the cloud, my iCloud account. Then it allowed me to copy and paste this. So what I did was when I take you through the keynote, you're going to see the videos that I have listed here, the Harlem Children's Zone. Let me show you real quick. Harlem Children's Zone. And then there's another Mr. Holland's Opus. And then here's some other, as I take you through the keynote, you're going to see links in that keynote that's going to look at the Harlem Children's Zone inequalities and individual inequalities, and then me using today's meet. So let's go back and open up the keynote. Now, what I'm hoping is that this doesn't take a long time to load. It, depending on the Wi-Fi speed, it sometimes takes a little while to load onto this Prezi site. Oh, there we go. So let's start up here and make sure I'm starting from the very beginning. So this is the Oceanside Promise. Now this would be one of two lessons, and I'll show the next keynote after this. One of the two lessons that I would be taking principles through. The Weebly site was another version of an example leadership unit. This Oceanside Promise, the beginning, is the first of two keynote presentations. And so just some norms, we've all seen those, like give them a purpose of today. Take our first step as a leadership team in making the promise a reality. And a series of questions, activities that I want the administrators to go through. And so this, if this was a live keynote, and I'm going to show you this video briefly. This is the video of the Harlem Children's Zone. Now, in my live keynote, this works perfectly. So I'm going to have them go in triads. Again, it's not so much wanting you to concentrate on the content, even though the content is important, but kind of the programs and technology skills that I've tried to exhibit in these. So here's, based on the question, putting monies and resources aside, what inequalities you think it took for Jeffrey Canada to even begin to put the Harlem Children's Zone together. So I have them talking triads. One person's going to open up a Google Doc, and that's what this is. So if I were to open this, it would be a Google Doc. Let me see. I don't think it opens on this. No, it doesn't. So I do have it opening up in my other part of my other Prezi. So here's the inequalities. And again, I'm going to show you this link. This is another Google Doc that I want to show that was created. And then a today's meet. Again, I showed you a little bit about what that was earlier. Now, this would be the end. Of course, there'd be a lot of discussions prior to. In the end, I do show a video of Mr. Holland's opus. And again, I'll show you a little bit of that as we proceed through this presentation. So let's get out of this and go back to presentation. And so let's take you to, want to make sure you see that this works.
These housing projects are failing all over America.
Now that's Jeffrey
if
Canada,
you look at the
the
97
director.
blocks and the 11,000 kids that live there, 1,000 of them live at St. Nick.
This is one of the most vulnerable parts of Central Harlem. And in the St. Nicholas houses is some of the most challenging situations.
Now, the Harlem Children's Zone was something that I used as a start point for the Oceanside Promise. So just so people knew that this could be done. And so let's go move on through presentation. You see that link worked. Now, this link took me a little while to figure out. I think it had to do with length. I also had to make it public on YouTube, and I thought I had done that, but this one actually took me a while to embed. So let's make sure this works. Here we go.
Your first day as a teacher, Mr. Holland. Excited?
Now, in this video, what I'm trying to portray to the principals is really having a focus and then really showing that it doesn't matter where you begin, but it's how you finish. And in this one, you see Mr. Holland's opus, it really takes you on a nice journey of the effectiveness of educators and what they can do in our students' lives. So let's see if I can go forward to.
Just the man I was looking for. We're forming a textbook committee for next year's curriculum, and I would like to have your ideas and suggestions.
Let's
We
see.
meet next Tuesday night in the library.
Sorry, Mrs. Jacobs.
Let's see.
A memento, if you will.
I am going to have you see this to the end. It's only 2 minutes, and I do really like this movie. It's very powerful.
I'm honored.
Mr. Holland, of all the teachers here at John F. Kennedy High School, you're my favorite.
Mr. Holland had a profound influence on my life, on a lot of lives, I know. And yet I get the feeling that he considers a great part of his own life misspent. Rumor had it he was always working on this symphony of his, and this was going to make him famous, rich, probably both. But Mr. Holland isn't rich, and he isn't famous, at least not outside of our little town. So it might be easy for him to think himself a failure. And he would be wrong. Because I think he's achieved a success far beyond riches and fame. Look around you. There is not a life in this room that you have not touched. And each one of us is a better person because of you. We are your symphony, Mr. Holland. We are the melodies and the notes of your opus. And we are the music of your life.
So now that we know that works, and really the last slide on here, you saw this in the keynote, would be the question, what is your opus? And again, this is the first keynote presentation in the Oceanside Promise. So here are some of the Google Docs and today's meet, just to make sure you know that these work. So here's what I would have the administrators go to so that you know that these links do work. So let's go back. Sorry about that. And here's another Google Docs. So again, somebody would be accessing this. Not somebody, but one person out of the group would all be accessing this and then putting this in. And let's go back. Okay. So here's the today's meet. One of the things I'd have them put these in, and then they would all list the inequalities. And then you'll later see these same inequalities on a Wordle document that I created that I want the principals to do so they can see some of the commonalities of this. Okay. So here's the second keynote. So I'm going to go through this. And now, again, I'm not going to show you all these videos like I did the last video, but I want to make sure you understand how this all plays. This, again, the second keynote presentation and how the first one plays right into this second one. Again, it takes a little bit of time to load, but once it's loaded, I'll quickly take you through the presentation. So let's make sure I start here at the beginning. I just worded this as Oceanside Promise, and then when I'm talking to the principals around this, being an instructional leader around the Oceanside Promise initiative, we'll talk about what we did in the last time. So this is a video of Will Smith, and again, I'll show you a little bit of the clip so you know that this does work. Again, just some questions, talking about what is their role. This is another video. It's called, Moonshot. And I will show you some of that. And it's really a certain type of mindset that I want my principals to do. One of the things I do say to them that we have the perfect system for the results that we've gotten from our kids, which, we don't have high enough reading scores. We don't have high enough math scores, but our system is perfectly built for those scores. So in order to create a better system, we can't think the same way. Our system needs to improve, but we can't do it always the traditional way because that hasn't been working. So that's some of the things I would be talking to them about. Now, this is one of those, I did create a blogger site, and so I'll take you to that blog site so that you see that actually does work. Let's see if it works from here. Again, it doesn't work from here. I have been trying to do that, and because it's come from the cloud into the Prezi, it didn't work. Again, you'll see, it says once identified barriers, blogger site is complete. Facilitator will copy and paste, and that'll be me, into the Wordle site. On the next slide is a Wordle creation that identifies the inequalities we came up with that will make the Oceanside Promise a reality. And I quickly went through that in the first keynote, but this is what it would, as an example of what it would look like. And so you'll notice tenacity, perseverance, passion, promise, commitment. These are all the big ticket words that the majority of our people came up with. Now, another Google Doc. So how do you apply 10 times thinking? Going back to the moonshot video. And then I don't have a Wordle for this, but what we would do, you saw an example of a Wordle. I do have the Wordle site that you do the copy and paste, so you'll see that next. And this is just a saying I have at the end. So let's get out of that. Go back to presentation. So let's quickly. This is the first one where you see Will Smith. And this is just a series of motivational videos.
Don't ever let somebody tell you
or snippets.
You can't do something. Not even me. All right? You got a dream. You got to protect it. People can't do something themselves. They want to tell you you can't do it.
So let's get out of that. I just want to make sure you knew that worked. So let's go to the 10 times moonshot video.
The actual moonshot is wonderful, inspirational, poetic, beautiful, involved great technical challenges, genuine heroism. It brought the world together. But think about the Polynesian islander on the dugout canoe, deciding one day they were going to go that way. No one had ever been that way before. No one even knew if there was anything.
See a little bit more of this.
It was amazing.
I think this is
and it changed the
great
world.
video.
People
motivating
can
and
set their minds
think a certain
to
way.
magical, seemingly impossible ideas, and then through science and technology, bring them to reality. And that then sets other people on fire, that other things that look impossible might be accomplishable.
Galileo is such a hero, in thinking big. And what he represents to me is both curiosity and wonder that humanity had, that pushed him and drove himself to invent and work on the first telescopes that allowed us to see the moon, and here we are.
These aviation pioneers were figuring it out as they went. No one really knew how to build an airplane, right? No one knew how to fly an airplane. It was amazing and crazy and wonderful, and they wanted to explore.
Many years ago, the great British explorer George Mallory, who was to die.
Or you kind of say,
so let's go through
cars to run at 50 miles per gallon, fine, you can retool your car a little bit. But if I tell you it has to run on a gallon of gas for 500 miles, you have to start over.
You need a lot of courage in this work, and you need a lot of persistence.
Let's go out of this into the next. Now this is my blogger site, so that you saw that I knew how to create a blog site. So this is my blogger, and this is where people would go. And in here, they list 3 to 5 words that represent barriers that can get in the way of making the promise a reality. And so in the first keynote, it was about identifying characteristics. Now we're looking at more barriers on this. So that is a blogger site. And let's go back. Oops. So here is my Google Doc, so you know that that works. There's the Google Doc. There is my Wordle. Oops. Sorry about that. Let's go back again. And it will take you to the Wordle. This is the Wordle. Now, I'm not going to actually open this, but this is where I would take, copy and paste. I have a Wordle here and a Wordle here. And this is just really, if you go to this site, it's kind of a blank box that you copy and paste words in, and then you hit the submit, and then all those words will come up, of the most predominant to the least. So here is another. This one took me a long time to create, and this is my Canvas. It's a learning management system that we do use in our district. What I wanted to do was create my own Canvas site outside of the district to actually learn how to create my own lessons within that. So quickly take you there. I will not open all of the links, but what you'll do is because you'll see some of the similar videos in here, but this is an introduction video, and it goes all the way down and takes you through. It has a focus of challenge-based learning, article of what challenge-based learning is and how I want them to use that strategy in terms of identifying what it takes to be an instructional leader to lead the Oceanside Promise. So here's a Promise video. Let's see if this comes up. Not sure if it's going to come up, but we'll see.
This is what I see 10 years from now in Oceanside Unified, called the Oceanside Promise. Imagine 10 years from now, a student graduates from Oceanside High School, El Camino High School.
A good sense of what the promise is. It's only about a minute and a half.
And when they graduate career ready, not job ready, career ready. A student graduates from Maricosta College, career ready, college ready. If they choose to go to a 4-year, they are ready both career and college. But we want to give them that option. I want to bring our city together. And I want the district to lead that, but in a manner that's respectful. I don't expect this thing to be completely done in 10 years. But as long as I'm the superintendent, that's what we're going after. We're going after that for every kid. That's audacious. I love that. I want to be audacious because every single kid matters in our district. We have the best teachers. We have the best classified. We have the best parents. We have it all. Let's bring that all together and make this work for every single student.
Okay, that was the very first video that I made about the promise. And so I do show that when I make presentations so that people see where it came from and then where we're at today. So let's go back so that you see that there's a Canvas course, a learning management system. And I wanted to show that skill because that's a whole other thing is learning the ins and out of a learning management system. And not everyone is the same. Moodle's different from Blackboard as it's different from Canvas. Some similar things, but not always the same. So here's my annotated bibliography with the videos on there, Google Docs. I have that all listed on here. And then here's some of the skills that I'm hoping were highlighted in this. You know, the screencast, obviously you're looking at a screencast, the Prezi, the Weebly site, the embedding of videos in the Weebly, Prezi, and into the screencast, along with the Canvas learning management lesson, Today's Meet, blogger sites. I don't have Wordle in here, but Wordle is also part of this, some of the skills that I wanted you to see in terms of this terminal project. So with that, that is the Oceanside Promise terminal project. Thank you.